Welcome to episode 3 of the Perspective Podcast. I am Mumsy Jasmine Bank.
And I'm Jabron Bank.
And this is our episode. This is our podcast.
This is our podcast.
All right, Jibs. You know what I actually feel?
What?
I feel...
What do you feel?
Genuinely. Listen,
I'm
to
listening.
Me. First of all...
Everyone is listening.
Jibs
or
has
watching.
Me in his schedule for 5 o'clock on Fridays as mom and son catch up coffee time. It has been 3 weeks. I cannot get catch up coffee time with Jabron, okay? Even though I'm in his schedule and he makes every other appointment. And then I sit there saying, okay, no, he has to work and he's busy and it's okay. So this question I'm going to ask
I feel like
so
such a horrible
genuine
human being.
So like,
all right. Okay. What's your question?
I feel I have to ask you this because I don't know.
Can you ask your question already?
This is my question.
All right. What's your question?
Jabron Bank, how has your week been? How are you, Mama?
I was not expecting that question. Ah.
How are you, Cuckoo? You know, everyone, I call Jibs Cuckoo.
She does call me Cuckoo.
My little chicken.
How's my week been?
Yeah, because I feel I haven't caught up with you, and I actually feel like I'm catching up with you on the podcast.
Fake.
With everybody else. Oh, okay.
My week has been completely inauthentic.
Why?
I only realized that it's been fake and inauthentic about 20 minutes before we started filming. I just realized on paper, technically, I should be so much happier. Technically, life should be so much more upbeat now. You know, like we've left, there's like breathing space, there's room for healing. And so I thought I was healing and I thought life was getting better, but I think I've just realized I've just been completely numb. I've just been numb. And it's only when I realized when you were on a phone call about 20 minutes before we start filming.
Yeah.
And I got a tear in my eye.
Why?
Because the situation or everything just kind of started hitting me again. And that's when I realized I'm not healing, I'm running, or I'm just being numb to everything that's going on. And so when I say that my week has been fake or disingenuine, I don't mean to the people that I've been, interacting with during the week.
Yeah.
I mean with myself. I don't think I've realized I've been going through it because...
What are we on the same week? Emotionally.
So how's your week been?
Shocking.
Oh, why?
Because I also had no idea until I got onto a call, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, that I've been so numb. And I just had someone go, oh my gosh, I mean, you have so much to unpack and you've been through so much. And I'm thinking, no.
We're healing.
Yeah,
we're healing.
I'm healing. I'm not where you think I am.
Yeah.
And then I cry on the call and I realize, uh-oh. I'm feeling again.
Yeah.
And I'm not numb. So this week for me, if anybody asked me, how are you? And I had to authentically answer, I feel I would humanly say, I don't know. I'm not where I was. I'm not in a terrible place. I'm not in the greatest place. I don't know. I don't know.
So, hey, by the way, how's your week been?
My week has been...
I thought you were going to say, I don't know. That's what you just said.
My week has been...
I already asked you. You already answered that question.
Yeah, but I find that interesting, Jiz. Are we both feeling again? But Jiz, wait, let's take a moment. Because we're not feeling things that are happening where something happened and now we're feeling what happened.
Right.
I think we are now healing.
Right.
And maybe like how I'm feeling is maybe I'm healing without a plan. I can't leave my healing to time because time won't heal. but my ability to heal in time will. But it has to be intentional.
Whoa. Time won't heal, but my ability to heal in time will.
Yeah.
That's very profound.
But it has to be conscious, right?
I think one thing that has kind of helped me recently is just the truth is I've just been so numb. And I think I'll wake up on a daily basis. And I think this is the struggle of like, after you go through something, I don't think anyone talks about what it's like to be in between, because I think it's very easy to be on a good side of life
Or on
or on a really bad side. You know, it's easy to like wake up and know that you're struggling mentally, you're going through some depression, you're facing adversity in life.
Something happened.
Yeah, and you have these like tools in your belt that you know you're going to use, and you've been using them, so it's easy. Or everything is going great in life, and you have a different set of tools, but again, you have the routine of things either being great or being not so great.
Yeah.
And I think when you just come out of a situation like we have, you know, something so, you know, toxic and detrimental.
And survival.
Yeah, I think I'm just so confused. I've just been so numb. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to heal. I don't know how to process.
I know what happened
What?
with me. I
What?
know what happened.
Did you know what
oh my
happened with
God.
me?
Like,
Can you? I would love to know.
I get what just happened.
What?
I feel that I was in survival. You were in survival. And then I feel we left and we might not realize it, but crashed in the sense where now you're not living the survival and in that environment anymore. Then I feel our bodies got used to trusting things are safe. We could do things, come back to an environment that we were creating, which was happy or just the way it was, or chill, but entirely safe, right? Then I feel I went into a situation last week that shocked my nervous system into something that shook me to the core.
Right, which you hadn't experienced in so long.
Yes. And then I feel it set me off now into feeling.
Which you're kind of avoiding.
But see, that's the thing, just was I avoiding, or was I
numb?
Was I just waking up like you, doing the things that I needed to, and going with the flow of a new environment, a new routine, a new way of being, a new way of thinking. And suddenly now I'm starting to realize, or I'm dealing with little pockets of how were all those things okay? And I'm trying, I think I know where I'm torn.
Okay.
I'm torn with, I'm trying to follow a Joe Dispenza method. Okay.
Who is Joe Dispenza?
Joe Dispenza is the greatest of all time. Go Google him. Okay. Like guru of gurus in healing.
Guru goat.
Guru goat.
Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to go through his program.
Are you, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Are you trying to heal perfectly? Because I think that's what I've kind of been trying to do, in the sense that I don't think a lot of people talk about what it's like after you've been through something traumatic. You know, when you have to wake up and go to work and go to the gym and go do this and go do that. And like, I personally don't think I've gotten any time to heal, reflect, anything of the sort, because I've just been on so much go, go, go juice. In the same breath, I've had space open up, right? But do you feel that? Do you feel like, what did I ask you?
Do you feel if you asked me something and I said no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I ask you?
Am I perfectly healing? Am I trying to?
Do you feel like you're trying to perfectly heal, in the sense that, you know, you're trying to listen to a meditation and journal and do an ice bath and like, because I think growing up, that was me for so long. Anything I was going through, I would try to get through it perfectly. Like, I'm going through a hard time. Cool. I'm already journaling, doing this, doing that, doing that. And if I'm not doing any of them, then my systems are breaking. I get into freak out. I get into overload. And then I, you know, panic myself more.
I just had a breakthrough.
What?
I just realized, no, I'm so done being perfect that for the first time, like I'm even reaching out and just in a space of like, I just need human beings around me. And I'm so far from not wanting anything to be perfect anymore. Like I'm done. I don't want to be perfect. I never want to get to a place because perfection for me, I think was a mask. I would love to do things perfectly, consciously, intentionally with room and
Okay.
trying to make things perfect in things I create
Right.
of value. But I think anything I was trying to do with perfection had me wearing a mask. And that's
Which
what I
was
was telling.
inauthentic.
Yes. And I was telling someone today that one of the reasons I never got into so many close friendships was I was so scared someone would see through my cracks of inauthenticity with trying to
And
be
your
perfect.
broken life.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so no,
That is so powerful.
I'm not trying
That
to
is
heal
so powerful.
perfectly at all.
I like that. I think I'm a week or so behind you.
You
I
think?
think what I'm going through,
Yeah.
and I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I am waiting for things to line up perfectly to heal that I've just prolonged the healing. You know, like I'm waiting for everything to be so right time, right moment under the right sky
Yeah.
that I'm not healing.
What is healing though?
I don't
Right,
know.
Jibs?
I don't know.
Because I would say that,
What is healing?
right. Because I would say, I know we are healing to
Right.
sit here. I know we are healing to be raw and have this chat.
Yeah, for this
Okay.
podcast to be live,
Right.
there's definitely some marginal growth.
But then I also feel, is there conscious healing where we're supposed to consciously be doing things day to day?
I can tell you for a fact, if healing is a conscious effort, I am not consciously healing. And in turn, that is a very big fear of mine. Like, I need to take a breath when I think about it. I'm very scared that 10 years will pass. I am very scared that 10 years will pass by and I will still be trying to deal with all this trauma that I've just gone through, and I won't have gone through it because I've been too busy.
Now, that won't happen because I'm your mom. So,
Yeah, but I have to heal.
yes, but I will nudge you. Like, I'll make sure that 10 years will not
That's
go
a
by.
great question. How do you heal? Is it breath work and meditations?
Is it?
Does that make you,
right.
does breath work and meditations make you whole?
Jibs, you know what I think it is? I think it's the accumulative of slowly doing little things again that bring you peace, joy, and ground you back to your real, authentic essence. Small, little, bite-sized bits that will eventually have you turn around one day and say, because I don't feel no one's ever healed, right? Because you're on this journey of life. So we're forever healing, but we're forever healing different people, different life circumstances, different health events, different
Right.
relationships. So we're always healing. But I feel it's the ability to see the small little things you started doing that you weren't doing when healing was a hope, when healing was something you wish you could even start. Right.
Yeah.
So it's the eating better, the strength to not have the sugar, the little bits to go on the run.
The ability to just sit in front of a camera and record this podcast.
Little bite-sized.
I think that's very, see, again, the power of the perspective. That's a perspective shift that is so awakening. I think I've been looking at healing as potentially this mountain.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting for the right backpack and the hiking poles and the sunglasses and the hat and everything to go and start healing. But I think instead it's realizing that healing is just taking one step barefoot and then, getting some shoes on and then getting a shirt on and then getting some pants on.
Yes.
And then you find some broken sunglasses somewhere along the trail.
It gives you a different perspective.
And then you get new sunglasses. And then by the end, at the top of the mountain, you have the gear and the kit and you did it. But initially, you just start with one barefoot footstep, probably with a broken ankle.
Just, I actually see that.
Yeah.
You describe that so beautifully because I can see someone like you or anyone hurting. You're now at the top of the mountain, but you don't have that version of you. You have the version of you that walked with you to the top of that mountain. That version was you,
Right.
broken piece by piece to get you to a place of whole.
Yeah. I think that, that fully changes my perspective on healing. I think for sure that makes sense. That I've been sitting here, maybe you have too, and I've been waiting for the right gear, the latest shoes, the perfect, training plan, a
Weekly therapy
coach.
sessions.
Yeah. And instead, I think it's just taking one step in the muck with a broken ankle and knowing that, like you said, accumulatively, by the time you get to the top of the mountain, you'll be fully decked out. I think that's what healing is.
Do you know what that makes me think of in this moment?
What?
The beautiful picture you drew.
Which picture?
Of like,
right.
oh my God, I wish I could like just get that off my wall and
I don't
show
think
that
so.
to
It's
you.
very much like a 6-year-old doing a painting and be like, Mom,
beautiful.
look, I drew a painting. Like,
It's stuck on my wall.
yeah.
But that was what, 3 weekends ago?
Yeah.
And Jibs came down and he was like, I want to color. Do you have colors or paints? And I was like, yes. And he's like, we put
I
some
wanted to
music
draw.
on.
Yeah.
And he drew to me what is beautiful.
Yeah, you're my mom. You'll always be beautiful.
Yes. You're my chicken. You're my little chicken cuckoo. And
right.
that was a piece of healing.
That was one step. That was one step on my broken ankle.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, realizing that.
And what did you call it? I have to share, Jibs. That was beautiful.
I did this drawing of a silhouette of me on this path to the sun. That was what it was. It was just this path in like a field with these mountains and stuff. And I called it The Boy Who Looked Again because I just realized for so long until that weekend, I think it was like my head was just down in life. Like I was just surviving. I was just trying to like get by. And I think I stopped seeing the beauty of life, like in the littlest things, in people, in interactions, in my cat coming to sit on me, in friends who, I care for so dearly, like calling me and me calling them, and just like, everything in life, that my head was just so down. And I think, like you said, when I asked to draw, I had enough emotional capacity created to have some creativity, and I finally looked again. And so I call that drawing the boy who looked again, because I didn't realize when I stopped looking. I think sometimes like you can go through life, especially when you're going through something difficult, and you can just not notice your head just slowly drop. And this can become your point of view. You start operating all your days like this, and it just gets worse and it gets worse. And you never realize that how did we get from this when we started here? Because all of it is, like you say, a 2-degree shift. And a 2-degree shift can be positive, but it can also lead you to just end up looking at your toes. And I think that's how I was operating through life. Either I had just been through so much that I was just like trying to just operate now. And I was trying to exist instead of live. But finally, in that drawing, I realized, wait, like, who makes the rules for life? Like, life is awesome. It's cool. And I finally looked up. And I say that while this may be like a little bit of a good moment, I think it's also so confusing. I think this is something you've gone through in this last week. The confusion of thinking that you're moving on, right?
Yeah.
Only to realize when you hit another low period, that you were just numb the whole time.
But you know what I realized also, Jibs? This low isn't that low.
Oof. Yeah.
Gibran. This low isn't that low. And I think first, I'm so emotional because to just hear you express that, when do we end up as humans walking with our head down with that perspective? And there's everything else around you, right? But when life hits you in some way, sometimes that's all you can see.
Yeah.
And then when you do lift your head again, life is still happening, but now with appreciation, with gratitude, with a sense of coming home.
I think with a sense of
yourself.
hope as well.
Yes.
You know, because very honestly, I think something I went through and something I experienced was just a loss of hope.
You used to say that.
Yeah.
Do you know, Jibs, I believe in signs, and Jibs, at some point, there was 1 week where before we had moved out, Jibs was like, I feel absolutely hopeless. And, is there hope, Mom? And I remember.
I felt hopeless to be happy again.
Right. And then I was writing Jibs a note, and I was going to leave it on his pillow. And I opened this drawer, and there's this magnet. Do you remember what the magnet said?
Yes.
And there's no way this magnet would be in my drawer. Okay, because if you guys see our fridge, seriously, like it's full of magnets, and there's this magnet in the drawer.
Part of a set of 6. So it's weird that there's this one magnet.
And on the magnet, the word is
hope. Yeah.
And I'm like, that is unbelievable, because Jiz was talking about it this week. I'm writing him a note to give him some hope.
Yeah.
And then there's this magnet, and, it's like life was telling you there's hope.
Yeah.
We couldn't see it.
No, I think it's life is telling you can find hope in the most unexpected places when you're not looking for it. Because
I love that.
Something that was scary to me, like I felt fear, was that I felt hopeless to be happy again.
I remember you saying that.
That, like for me, that was just, I'd never experienced that before. Like whatever adversity or challenge we were going through, I always knew there was light at the end of the tunnel. And all of a sudden, this tunnel's starting to look really long.
Yeah.
And really dark. And darker than it had ever been, even though technically we're closer to the end. Like, how does that make sense?
Right.
We're closer to the end of the tunnel. We should have seen some light. And all of a sudden, I feel like it's the most dark. And I felt like I just lost hope to just be happy again. Simply, that's what it was. And it took a lot of conscious effort to start seeing the beauty in things again, to take my head, which had just slowly sunk, and just raise my own chin to look around me, And I think...
I'm so proud of you.
Mom, that's so random.
I'm so proud of you. I'm just so proud.
That's so random.
I'm just proud like you can feel, and I'm just proud when you don't feel, and I'm just proud like of where you are. Just
I love
really,
you too much. I love you too much.
I love you too. I'm proud. And like the point was the fact that you drew, and we don't see like these little bite-sized moments where we start to color and we create and we listen to some music and make better choices and decisions.
I think symbolically, like me wanting to draw was like me adding color to my own life again.
And getting in touch with your inner child.
Yeah. But I think in the same breath, what's funny is, and a lot of people might not think, like, a lot of people might think you and I have this. A lot of people, okay. And I think a lot of people might think you and I have this great relationship, this perfect relationship. But something I've expressed to you throughout the week is that I don't feel like I've been there for you. Like, I don't feel like I've supported you.
Yes, you have.
At all. I know. But it's like, I don't feel that way. And it's like, people might think like, oh no, like they're so supportive, and like, but even like through everything we've been through and through all the support we've given each other, I don't feel like I've been as there for you as I could have been, or even can be now.
I don't feel that.
I know, but isn't it weird that I do?
But why?
I don't know.
You have been. Get it?
I just... Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
you have been. Stop it. No, but you have been, Jibs. I think you felt that when you had me on a call, and I was only recognizing on that call as I was sharing something, and then Jibs looks up at me and then thinks, because normally I'd share it with you first.
Right.
But it just came out on a call with a friend, and then you thought, oh my God, you've been going through a lot. And then I told you that I didn't know I've also been going through a lot this week. But I feel like a lot in terms of the silver lining, Jibs, is we're not going through a lot of, like I said, something happened and we're dealing with that. We're now dealing.
Hard.
Yes. It's a new hard.
It's a new hard. It's a safe hard.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, again, back to the power of the perspective. Sometimes you forget to look back and see that the hard you once went through is different from now. And it really, every time I get this TikTok on my feed, it's always just like, take a moment and appreciate that I constantly see this TikTok on my page, and every time I see it, it says, take a moment and appreciate what you once prayed for is what you're living right now.
Oh.
And every time it always puts things in perspective. And sometimes it makes me realize I need to pray for things more specifically.
Yes.
And I need to pray for things better.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, I'm always in a place that I once prayed for.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it may be, better or worse, I prayed for it at some point. And so I think that always puts so much perspective, you know, into my life.
Yeah.
That, hey,
I like that.
There's always hope with like this guaranteed success. Because if you really think about it, if you're in a place where you can't relate to that, then it's coming.
Yes.
Or maybe you need to just think a little deeper. Did you pray to be where you are now? You know, did you forget to finish a prayer off? Did you ask the universe for something and forget to be a bit specific? Because it's almost like, you know, you can manifest a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Like, you can manifest a G-Wagon all day, and you might end up with one that has no wheels and is broken and no engine.
That's crazy.
And like, but you ended up with your G-Wagon.
Yeah.
So...
Or you wanted the G-Wagon, and you've got to manifest the wealth to be able to put the fuel in it.
Yeah, or you manifest a G-Wagon, and now you have a little Hot Wheels car, you know? So I feel like... I think the truth is, ask me how I feel.
Do you see why this perspective podcast is healing? Do you see as we heal with you? Gibran Bank.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I don't know.
So we're still at square one.
And I think that's the thing about healing. That's the thing about the healing journey.
Yeah.
You can, you know, think you're making so much progress. You can actually make so much progress.
Maybe you are.
But then at the same time, you can just feel like you're back to square one. You know, because I'm sure, like, we'll wind up this episode and, like, it might even be in an hour or two where I just, you know, might feel low again. And so it's so confusing.
But with the perspective to that, Gibran, it's a different low. It's a better low. It's a better hard.
That is so
It's a low that now you get a chance to sit with it. You get a chance to process it. You get a chance. Look, you will only feel low because the low is calling you to grow, right? So that low, if you sit with it and you don't distract through, and now maybe this is the intentional conscious healing part.
Right.
Which, if these are the emotions I'm feeling, it's not because someone just said something to me or did something to me. Now this low is something I have to process, something I have to heal, something I have to feel in my body and then give permission to release out, right? So I feel if in an hour, if in 2 hours you are feeling low, what are the conscious things that we can start to also do?
A chocolate bar.
No, Jibs. Maybe after that, what are the conscious things?
Yeah, no, I think you're fully right. Like when you put things into perspective, the low now is very different from the low before.
Because you never ever go back to where you were. Even if you go back to a hard time, even if you go back to a difficult time, it's never the difficult that it ever was.
I think it's this thing of like 1 step back, 2 steps forward. But then even if in 2 steps you take 1 step back, you're never where you started.
Exactly.
If you take one step back, 2 steps forward, and then one step back, 2 steps forward, and then one step back, 2 steps forward. At the end, you're still progressing.
And a different perspective to that, what if sometimes we're taking 2 steps back to go 2 steps right, and then 2 steps back to go 2 steps left? But somehow, even in the zigzag of it, you're making your way up progressively, because it does. We're never in a straight line, right? Sometimes, and that's what I loved about rugby that I learned. The most powerful analogy that I learned from rugby was you have to throw the ball backwards in order to go forward. And I remember thinking, how? How is it possible to keep throwing this ball backwards and end up there? And yet you do. And that's why I don't feel life is about throwing the ball backwards to just go forward. Sometimes it's throwing it backwards sideways as you keep moving.
And pivoting.
Right. And maybe forward sometimes is just where you miss smelling the roses. And the left and right, the tug and pull of life is what opens you up.
I love that.
Yeah. To being able to just pause and smell roses.
Yeah. I love that. That is so powerful. I think, maybe life isn't linear. Maybe we shouldn't just go back or forth. Maybe you need to go to the side. Maybe you need to pivot and sidestep and go around. I think something I've been struggling with, something that also always puts perspective into my life, is that thing Chris Williamson says.
What?
If your life was a movie right now,
oh, I love this,
and everyone was watching, what would the audience be screaming? And I think I'm just so confused because I don't have an answer.
I was just going to ask you, what would your audience be screaming? They can see your life right now. What would they be telling you?
Is it weird that I don't know?
Is it that you don't know here, or... Because here you know, Jibs. You always know here.
I think the audience would tell me to work with myself more.
How?
I think my heart and my head are very disconnected right now. I think I go through part of my day operating from my head, part of it operating through my heart. And so there's no,
synergy.
Yeah. And so
if you connected to your heart and the audience right now was telling you, Jabron.
Yeah, I think I think the audience would be screaming to put more faith into God.
Oh.
I think that's what the audience would be screaming. I think over the last couple of months, the situation that we've gone through, but as an individual I've gone through, required me to take so much control of so many external factors, of so many things happening in life, where I had to get things done, right? Like, quite literally. And I think prior to that, everything I needed to get done, I would just rely on God for. And so me having to do things, made me feel more independent. It's not that I forgot God, but in the sense that, maybe the audience would be screaming to just trust more in that higher power, to kind of let control. Yeah, let go. That's the thing. I don't know. There's a lot of confusion in what the audience would be screaming, and I know that means there's a breakthrough coming, but I don't know what the audience would be screaming.
Because Tony Robbins says that when you are confused, you are a moment away from a breakthrough. So if we literally just sat with you, because I feel like you're, this is actually science-based, where you can take an MRI or do an ECG and you can see the brain waves that fluctuate and move, and then you can see the heart waves fluctuating and moving. And when you do it of both of them and you're out of sync, the brain waves are moving in their own rhythm, heart waves move in their own rhythm. But when you actually pause scientifically and breathe into your heart for literally a minute or two.
By doing what? By putting your hand on your heart?
You put your hand on your heart, and when you breathe in, you intentionally are breathing into your heart, and you take 2 honest minutes to be able to do that and center yourself.
I like how you say 2 honest minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I could do that for 15 seconds and feel like
exactly.
I'm done.
Yeah, 2 honest minutes, and you do that. The brain waves and the heart waves, they align.
Thing is, I feel like
There we
that's
go.
exactly.
There we go. He doesn't see that. Did you hear that?
I feel like that's
He
exactly
went from
where
I think to I feel.
Does that mean I moved into my heart?
It means you're moving into your heart.
I feel that I'm exactly in that place. I feel like my heart waves are going like this and my head waves are going like this, and I just feel like there's no synergy between both.
Well, now you know how to do it. You've known your whole life how to do it.
Yeah.
And you
I
just
think
take that moment.
you know what? I think here's the truth. The truth is covered in so many roses in the fact that life is getting better. I don't think I'm okay. You know? I don't think I'm okay.
What do you mean?
I feel like for anyone who is not okay, like you'll know what that means in the sense that, like I think I'm still going through it. I think my mental health is still taking a great toll. And I think life has just been bundled up in smiles and roses and smelling the flowers. But I think there's this incongruence between not being okay and the situation being better. Does that make sense? I'm still not okay, but my situation is better. And part of me feels guilty for not being okay. Part of me feels like, hey, the situation is better. We should be getting better. But I don't think I am. And I feel like that journey and that process will take time. And I feel like I'm at a point of just trying to accept that.
Do you think that you need to be more intentional now that there's more wiggle room? Do you feel that you have to be more intentional to start to do what it would take to feel better?
Yeah.
And I wonder what do you feel?
I think part of it is just feeling. I think I'm so numb and I'm scared to feel.
Why?
Because my nervous system just can't feel anymore.
Yeah.
I'm tired of feeling, and I say that, but contrary to what I'm saying, I'm very emotionally in touch with myself, and I feel everything, but on a day-to-day basis. But I think in the grand scheme of things, in dealing with the trauma that, we've just gone through, I think my body, my brain, my heart, everything is just, it can't feel anymore. And so it's been sitting in this numb place. And I guess if I can just recognize that as I'm speaking these words, then that's clearly some growth, right? To not be numb for another week and then realize it. But I think
I got you.
it's just like, I think I'm just tired of feeling. I think that's the truth.
Do you feel like you're tired of feeling because what you were feeling before was
100%. 100%.
So do you think maybe now the feelings would be different? Because this is why I was telling you I was confused, or I feel like sometimes I'm like this, because the Joe Dispenza method, right, is, he eventually gets you to a point of forgiveness, because forgiveness carries greater vibration, and a greater vibration that you release from the body will pull in a new reality into your life. So Joe Dispenza's method is very much not going into the trauma. He never asks people to retell their story, because the brain cannot tell the difference with the event that happened in the past and the event happening again. So the brain thinks that you're going through that all over again. And so your cortisol, the body, the system, nervous system, it's going through the same thing.
Of going through something, your body feels like you're going through it.
And then in the same breath, it's very interesting when he goes on to a Chris Williamson, a Stephen Bartlett, podcast, Lewis Howes, because they asked questions of like, well, there's so many people who do have to deal with trauma. And he says, yes, 100% you do have to deal with it, but there's a way to deal with it where the brain isn't thinking this is happening to me again and recreating all of that. And his system is the old self, this self that is living in this reality that pulls in the vibrations of what we do now cannot be the self that will give you the future or the other reality, right, that you want. And that's why he says you have to have a new personality to create a new personal reality, a new sense of self that thinks, feels, and acts in accordance to what you want. What I like is he's very real about life will pull you back, emotions will pull you back, environments will pull you back, the traffic, the screaming, the stuck in a line with someone
that's not...
Getting a
message from your ex.
Right, exactly. And he says that when you go through that, Jibs, he's like, the point is to consciously get the body to remember the new self.
So I'm going through that.
And he says it's all emotion based because we don't realize like we release these emotions. These emotions are frequency. They're all these little atoms and molecules. We're not solid. They move out like a ripple effect and will pull more back to you in that sense. And that's why in this healing journey, I'm very much like, I want the Joe Dispenza because the life I want to create, the future I want to have is not with this personality, right? And healing this personality is understanding, okay, if that's the life I want to have, what would the emotions be that I experience if I had that life?
Right. So
that's what he
like,
teaches you.
I think that's really powerful in the sense that you're kind of using yourself as a mentor. Right? You're using your future self as a mentor.
And then gauging with when I come back to this self. Right. So there's that self, you're trying to create this self. And then it's the same breath like Tony Robbins teaches, right? You've learned it, the power of triad. And when we're stuck, when we're down, when we're feeling low, he's taught us that we change our state, we change our story.
I fully don't agree with that.
Really?
100% I don't agree with it.
That physiology
sense,
state?
Yeah, I agree with the concept. I think what he teaches makes sense on paper. And I think when life hits you with 7 rounds that you weren't expecting, it's from personal experience, it's very difficult to get into a position to be like, let me change my physiology. Let me change my focus. I think that those are things...
that's easier now.
Yeah, those are things you can do now.
Yeah.
I think that kind of advice isn't applicable when you're going through something hard. It's applicable post-hard thing.
But that being said, when we were going through the trenches and we would go for a run, weren't we changing our physiology?
But also, how many times were we going through the trenches and we couldn't run?
And this is why I think, Jibs, do you know what I really feel sincerely? I think you underestimate the power of your environment. You underestimate the power of the people you surround yourself with and the environment that you live in. Because I've for such a long time seen that analogy of, you can take a beautiful flower and go put it in the rain or go put it in the sun. But if the soil stinks and there are no nutrients, that flower is not going to bloom. You need to take that flower out and replant it in the environment that's going to support it to grow and bloom into what it needs to.
Right.
And I'm so testament to that because I know how many times I try to override my environment, the Joe Dispenza method, and then you feel you've got somewhere and it's taken so much energy to make this much progress to feel good. Yeah. And something happens in that environment and all your hard work's gone. Whereas then I feel now when you're in a safer environment, the power of your environment and protecting it with the right people around you,
right.
Now that little progress eventually will be something, results in something. It's not being broken down each time.
Right.
So I just feel...
I think that's so powerful.
Yeah, the power of our environment.
Yeah, the power of your environment is incredible. I think 100%.
And then does that mean power of our environment in our mind?
I think I was going to say the power of your your controllable environment and situation.
Mm.
You know, like no matter what you're going through, there's always some locus of control that you have.
Mm.
You know, sometimes it feels like you have no control. So whether it's 0.1% or 100%, within that ratio, within that field, you always have some control.
Yeah.
And I think like that's why it's powerful when you know you're doing slightly better to do hard things. Like for example, we failed running this 160 kilometers this month. The goal was to run 160 kilometers for the month of November to hit a platinum month for men's mental health. And because I got a flu and a fever for an extended period of time and I injured my knee, we couldn't do it. We couldn't finish it and I failed. And I think if I hadn't been silly enough to do runs with the fever and run with a really injured knee, tomorrow, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 100 years, when I'm going through a really dark time, you know, and I say, God forbid that I don't, but I know that's just the ebb and flows of life.
Yeah.
I can pull back to that run. You know, like I can pull back to the fact that, hey, I ran 15 kilometers with a ridiculous fever and I ran 15 kilometers with, you know, really injured knee. That if I'm going through something, my own personal situation and environment that I can control is a little bit of a light.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like when we were going through such a hard time, I was still gymming. I was still active. But it came from doing so many hard things in a non-hard time.
Yeah.
To be able to just get through things in a hard
Just
time.
to put your shoes on.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It is so hard to just... I genuinely think there was actually one day that I got ready, drove to the gym, sat in the car and drove back home.
In LA?
Yeah, in LA. And it's hard. Like, for sure it's hard. But it's just knowing that I've done hard things before so I can do hard things now.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the philosophy is. It's very simple. It's just do hard things now for a harder tomorrow.
You know, this brings me to a comment someone left on our episode 1 or 2, and, you know, somebody said that I'm just so tired. I'm paraphrasing. I should pull it up, but they were saying that, you know, I'm so tired of hearing how everyone is struggling or everyone's going through a hard time. And I just, you know, want to see or hear people on the other side of it. And then they sort of ended it with, but, you know, like I'm so frustrated because I'm going through a really hard time. And I think first I felt like I just wanted to give them the biggest hug. And then I
think
felt,
I did too.
Yeah, if you're looking to see people on the other side, then there are enough mentors that we have that show us that we can get to the other side. I think when Gibran and I share the realness of, you know, when you are, I think, in such a hard, dark place compared to like where you are now, and now is also hard, there's a reality to depression. There's a reality to hyper depression. The fact that you still have to survive, you still have to get out of bed, you still have to do a million things. And I think sometimes there's just an applause for surviving a day and still being in the world. You know,
And I
it's
think also
overlooked.
just like surviving a day and trying to grow through it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I think like that's the thing. Like this podcast is not here to sit and dwell on all the crappy stuff we've gone through. It's more just to be like, we know what it's like to go through it.
And we're going through this journey with you, because as we talk, catch up and heal, so are you. That's our hope, right? And we're not going to be here at the end of December. We don't know where we'll be. But
what do you mean by that?
Like because of who we are as people, we want to grow. We want to have an incredible life. We want to achieve things. But I think we're real.
I think the thing is, I think like what success looks like to me is just not giving up. I think what success looks like to me is not giving up enough times through failure.
What success looks like to me is not giving up enough times
through repeated failure. That's what success is. I don't think success is getting everything perfect.
Because that broke my
quote
mind.
For the end of the episode, our tradition. I think, like, you know, everyone thinks like success is so. And another thing is, everyone thinks success should be so guaranteed so early on, especially with social media. You know, and I saw one of my best friends, he posts content as well. He was talking about this. He's like, everyone thinks by 20 you should be driving this crazy car and living this perfect life and having this awesome girlfriend. And like, no, like success is just not having all those things and still choosing not to give up in hope that you can still get there. You know, that's what it is to me. It's not being at the top of the mountain. It's just knowing that there's a whole mountain to get to, and I'll still take the first step. To me, that's success.
Yeah.
And to me, there's more success in that first step than at the top of the mountain. I mean, it brings back to this question I was going to ask you. If you knew what the last 2 years would look like as 2 year ago you, would you have enough strength to go on this journey? If you knew how hard and treacherous it was going to be? And the only reason I ask that is because when I was going through it, the only thing that helped me get through it is not knowing how hard it was and how hard it's going to be. You know, just trying to survive one day at a time is what made it possible.
My brain just broke because your question made me actually answer something different.
What?
Your question had me go, if 2 year ago me could meet 2 year later me, like she would be like, it's about time. Thank you.
But to my question, would you be able to go through the last 2 years if 2 year ago you knew what the next 2 years was looking like?
No. Because I think if the 2 year ago me knew this is what I was going to go through, I think I would have caved and cowarded to have not risen to who I needed to be able to be on this side. And you know why that blows my mind? Because I just realized, look at the growth. We've grown from who we were 2 years ago, because your 2 year ago would have loved to meet this Gibran of 2 years post. You're not the same person.
Would he though? I don't know.
Really, Jibs?
I don't know.
I love meeting you. Yes,
like
he
that,
would.
Like that, I just feel too numb to answer that question.
I think Jibs, come on. For me, 100% Gibran who I was 2 years ago.
I don't know, because I don't feel like I can answer that question. I don't know if 2 year ago me would be excited to meet like now me. I don't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't know.
Why?
For another episode, for another time.
Why?
No, it's... no hablo inglés. I don't know.
Like,
I don't think I'm ready to answer that question right now. I don't think I'm ready to answer that question right now. You know? But I think one key takeaway is that the hard now is not the hard it used to be. Right? So...
And not with the version of who you were in that hard, with the version you are in this hard.
Yeah, I think not only does the hard change, you change with it. But you consciously change, because you can very much change in a negative direction.
I was just going to say
the hard can get harder, and you can
pause and not grow.
You can get complacent.
Yeah.
I think you have to be willing and wanting to grow. Here's the thing, right? When I went through a situation of continuous hardness, is that a word? That is a word. Hardness is a word.
On this podcast, it's a word.
When I went through a phase of continuous hardness, and this is something I've said before to friends, there are points where you can see past the horizon, and there are points where you can't see past your nose. And so whether it be a leap, a jump, a sprint, or a crawl, or a stumble, to me, it's so important to just keep moving. And it's something a mentor of mine taught me. She said something so beautiful, which is what her dad used to say, which is, it's always easier to change the direction of a moving golf ball, right? It's always easier to change the direction of a moving ball as opposed to one that's not moving. So throughout this journey, whether it's been a stumble or a leap, it's just so pivotal when things look like you can't keep going to just keep going. And that's not cliche, hard guy mentality advice.
Yeah.
That is coming from someone who has been through it and just had to, even if it was one tippy toe at a time, keep moving.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, I would just get complacent and I'd probably let the situation engulf me, And I think when you keep moving, you have, even if it's 1% of control on the situation, then you have that 1%.
And I think that's the difference. What you just said is you've gone through a hard time and you've kept moving, but in the constant movement, you've changed, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference with people who go through a really hard time. And I think hard times pull out the truth in who you really are. I think hard times can make some people more bitter. I think hard times can make people more angry. I think hard times can make people, just a different version of themselves.
No, the true version of themselves.
The true version of themselves. And I think hard times can soften you. Hard times can push you to God. Hard times can make you surrender to God. And I think that's the difference. I think all of us are living life going through a hard time. But I think we don't give ourselves credit when we go through a hard time and we come out of it with grace, with kindness, with God, with humanity, right? With integrity. And I think as opposed to sitting here saying, I went through a hard time, but then not being proud of how you behaved in the hard time, how you treated people in that hard time, how you left people feeling, and then who you are.
Yeah. I think you have said something that in itself needs attention. Who you are comes out in difficult situations. The truth of who you are comes out. Because when you're going through it, till your neck, you can't put on a mask to be polite to people anymore. So if you are polite to people, it stays. You can't put on a mask to be nice and kind and understanding. So unless you are nice and kind and understanding, it doesn't stay. And I think that is just an extremely powerful concept, because I think there's power in looking in the mirror, asking yourself a hard question, who am I? Because instead of just having an ego and thinking, I'm great where I am, maybe I can improve, take a hard look in the mirror and just be like, am I happy with this person? Do I like their behavior? Is there something I can change to be better? And by only doing that, will you have growth, by asking yourself a hard question that a lot of people are afraid to ask themselves. But again, it's when you realize that by asking your hard question, you're closer to success.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to realize the pitfall to get out of the pit. Otherwise, you can go by being so blind to it, thinking you're okay, but you'll just live in that pit. And maybe you just need to open your eyes to be like, okay, there are a couple of things I should change, need to develop about myself. There are a couple of characteristics I want to pull out. There are a couple of characteristics I want to pull in.
Put to bed.
And I think introspection is so important. Otherwise, life is always happening to you.
Yeah, not for you.
Yeah. And I think, what is your lovely quote to be able to end this episode on?
Quote. And I know what my quote is.
All right.
My quote for this week is, time does not heal. but healing intentionally with time heals.
Time does not heal, but healing intentionally with time heals. I like that. I like that. That gives everything purpose. I like that.
I just also instinctively feel like I just have to hug you. It just. I really love you.
Love you too.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Mom.
What is the quote you have to end this episode? Gibran Bank.
It's not my quote. I don't know who it's from, but the philosophy just makes sense to me. Success is just choosing to not give up in the face of failure. No. My quote that I'm going to leave this episode on, which is probably not my quote, and I've heard somewhere else, is that success is just choosing to not give up in the repeated face of failure.
I love that.
Because
Absolutely
I don't
love
think it's how good you are. I think it's how good you are at not giving up. That's what success is to me.
I love that. And my uncomfortable question for you would be, if your younger you could ask you a question right now, and the question being, Gibran, did we make it? How are we doing? What would you say to the younger you?
I don't know. I think I would tell the younger me, we're not doing great, but we aren't giving up. That's what I would tell the younger me. In a camera. Maybe I need to, part of me feels like, okay, I have an uncomfortable question to ask you.
Yes.
Do you have imposter syndrome as a relationship coach who doesn't have a perfect relationship?
Yes. Yes. It has taken me a year to work on that with James, with the coach.
And to make peace with it.
And to make peace with it, because, it's so funny you say that, Jibs, because I feel I got full circle on that yesterday. Yes, I did feel I had imposter syndrome because I felt...
Imposter syndrome?
I did feel it because I felt to be a real relationship coach, I had to walk my talk, and it's been something I've always... It's my character, it's a principle I have. It's like when you go to the gym, you want your trainer to look perfect and be perfect. That's the person you want training you. And so I carried the same analogy.
But in the same breath, right? Like, the coach of a sports team doesn't play.
Right.
But doesn't he lead the entire team?
Well, I'm not playing now. But
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, coach doesn't play.
Yeah, but it took me a year to work on that. And that came from the coach I had consistently was sharing a lot of what he was going through. He was divorced for 12 years, the downs he was going through, the breakups he was going through, and would use them as lessons in the class. And
his imperfection.
Yeah, and then at some point I remember asking him, like, don't you feel like, you share all of these, and are you not like scared that you lose like students? And he was like, but didn't you just book the progressive class with all my examples?
Right.
And I'm like, yes. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because you're real and you're relatable and you're not hiding. And he's like, there we go. He's like, so we know your work. So yeah, my uncomfortable question was that I did think that, and I don't anymore, because the feedback I've got from so many people is you're so much more relatable. And because of what you've been through, we feel safer to learn from you.
I love that.
And so that's made me feel human.
I love that. That is so beautiful.
I love you
That
too.
is so beautiful. I love you too. And thank you for watching episode
Yes.
3 of the Perspective Podcast, which is now on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at the Perspective Podcast GS. And new episodes come out every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But until next week, have a great week, phenomenal week, and we will see you then.
We will see you then.